I do. That's what I do.
Some people. Police. Yeah, I like that. Does it go? Yeah, actually it does. It's my food. I can live.
You could everybody's pointing out the last
By the direction, Dave met Monday. So Dave is a colleague of mine. Calling.
Everybody come in as fast as possible. People will never have to worry about making a living wage. And one day, a leader who understands that war is not the answer to everything.
see. And it is especially great to see so many Californians who are ready for change to take place. I saw the hands go up and the shout filled this great tent when you were asked, did you see the debate last night? Wasn't it exciting to look and to know that one of the two people on that stage will be the next president of the United States? So proud of the Democratic Party and of our country, because as I said last night, I don't think any of us could have imagined that all of the work, all of the sacrifice, all of the commitment that has moved our country toward a more perfect union could have been so symbolized by the two of us standing there, debating, trying to become the Democratic nominee. No matter what happens, I want every one of you with a child or a grandchild to look into the eyes of that precious child and to say, yes, you can be whatever you want to be in America. For more than a year now, I have been traveling around our country, and I have had the great privilege of listening, of going into people's homes, of sitting down across the kitchen table, of meeting in a restaurant or a workplace to hear what is on the minds of our fellow citizens. And I know that we believe that our country can do so much better than what we have seen. To realize there's a role for each and every one of us to play. And for the people of California, it begins on Tuesday, because you will have a chance to help pick the next president. And are you ready to go to the polls to make sure we have put together a grassroots campaign. People in every community, people from every walk of life, and this weekend, those of you who have a cell phone, be part of our Bring Your Own Phone calling effort. We're going to call 1 million Californians over this weekend. So as you leave, someone may say, will you come to a BYOP party? And I hope you'll say yes, because we want to do something that has never been done before. This is a grassroots generated effort. Everybody can do it. You can go to your friend's home. You can get together with a bunch of people, because we want to make sure every single voter is touched. And I want you personally to tell them, I need you. I need you to come out on Tuesday to be part of what we are putting together. This is a campaign to take back America, because we know there isn't anything that Americans can't do once we make up our minds to do it. There isn't a problem we can't solve. The we're the inventors. We're the people who understand that the future is what America is about. And if we have an election where it is the future that's at stake, I have no doubt about what the outcome is. Because together, here is what we will do. We will make this economy work again for hard-working middle-class families. We will begin to put people back to work, and we will give ourselves the kind of boost that comes from investing in the future with green-collar jobs in alternative and renewable energy. There's no doubt in my mind we can employ millions of Americans, but we need a president who has a plan and is committed to making it happen. You know, if we do this right, with energy efficiency, with higher gas mileage cars, with new green buildings, with new forms of energy that we help develop through what I've called for a strategic energy fund, we will once again be leaders. Instead of being dependent on the oil-producing countries, we will be exporting. That is funded by taking the tax subsidies away from the oil companies. You may have heard today that ExxonMobil posted $40 billion in profits for the last quarter. I have advocated a windfall profits tax. Either they're part of the solution or we're not going to let them continue to impose the old. Now I know we're not going to have the kind of energy policy our country deserves until the two oil men leave the White House. Again. We're going to do the same thing by ending President Bush's war on science. He has muzzled government scientists, taken inconvenient information off of government websites. The result is that we're stalled. Young researchers are not being given the support they need. We should go back to funding the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, and work. I have an innovation agenda because America once again needs to be the innovation nation. There's no doubt in my mind that we can compete with anybody in the world. All we need to do is get organized and focused again. And we must, once more, build a strong and prosperous middle class. That has not been happening. Americans are working harder than ever before, but so many families feel that they're stalled, don't they? You know, you work and work, sometimes 2 jobs. I meet a lot of couples who have 4 jobs between them because healthcare costs are up, education costs are up, energy costs are up. And people know that the American dream should be within grasp of anyone willing to work for it. The average American family has lost $1,000 in income in the last 7 years. We need to have a tax system that doesn't just reward the wealthy and the well-connected. We need to get rid of any loophole or giveaway in our tax disparity that exists so that an investment manager making $50 million a year pays a lower percentage of his income than a nurse or a teacher making $50,000 a year. America works best when we're all in it together, when we reward work, when we help each other, when we recognize that as people get ahead, that moves everybody forward. And I intend to be a president that once again puts the American people first. When we end the war in Iraq, we're going to bring that money back here. And yes, we will move back to cutting the deficit and cutting the debt. When George Bush became president, there was a balanced budget and a surplus. That was the result of a lot of hard work. And now it is all gone. We borrow money from the Chinese to buy oil from the Saudis. I don't think that's a good deal for America. So we're going to get back to making it clear that this government should work for the vast majority of Americans, not for the privileged few. Somehow I think that President Bush misread that wonderful description of our government and thinks it should be a government of the few, by the few, and for the few. Well, those days are going to be over on January. Quality, affordable health care is a moral right, not a privilege. Now that's one of the big differences in this election between my opponent and myself. I really believe that universal health care must be the goal that we attain in the next Democratic administration. You know, don't you think that in a country as rich as ours, that we can be smart enough to figure out how to provide quality, affordable health care, cut costs for everybody, make it clear that nobody will be left out, ask for shared responsibility. And that's what my plan proposes to do. Because under my plan, if you have insurance and you're happy with it, nothing changes. You keep what you have. There's no disruption. But if you don't have insurance, or if the insurance you have doesn't cover what you need, you're going to get the same choices that members of Congress and federal employees has a plan with more than 250 options covering important healthcare needs like mental health and prevention, giving people the choices to suit whatever their particular situation calls for. And for those who have trouble affording it, we will provide healthcare tax credits. And we don't ask small business to do anything because it's hard enough being a small business person. But we offer small business the same opportunity to buy into this plan and to get the healthcare tax credits. Because you see, I don't think I should make the decision as to which of the millions of Americans would be left out. You know, if you heard and saw the debate, you know that I want to cover everyone, and I have a plan to do that. And my opponent would leave about 15 million people out to begin with. I don't think that's the position the Democratic nominee should have. I want to go into the general election against whomever the Republicans nominate, standing up proudly for our values of universal health. I have said many times, I am not running for president to put Band-Aids on our problems. And I will end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind. I will form a new partnership with our educators and our students and our families. We need a 21st century education system in America. On our individual children, I do not think that our children should be seen as little test takers and our teachers as big test givers. So let's imagine an education system that focuses on the individual child. Our goal should be to help every single child live up to his or her God-given potential, and that is and let's make college affordable again. I have heard so many heartbreaking stories. I've heard the stories of families who refinanced their homes to get the money to send their children to college and took out a subprime mortgage to do it, and are in the process of losing the American dream because they tried to give their children the American dream. I've heard from so many young people who've had to postpone going to college or continuing college. And to me, that is breaking faith with what previous generations have taken for granted. It is now more expensive for a young person in America to go to college compared to the income of the average family than it was 30 years ago. So here's what I want to do. $3,500 tax credits for every child for every year so that you can use your own money more efficiently. I want to create more aid programs like the Pell Grant, which should go year-round and increase the amount that can go to students. I want to provide the option of 2 years of national service so young people can earn up to $10,000 a year. I want to end the abusive, predatory practices of the student loan companies. Everywhere I go, I ask students, what interest rate are you paying? And unbelievably high rates. I was just down in San Diego State and I asked a huge crowd like this. I said the highest rate I've heard up until now is 13.4%, and somebody yelled, how about 18%? How about what? 18%? This is abusive. When I was going to college all those years ago, my father had enough money to pay for room, board, and tuition when I went to college, but if I wanted to buy a book, I had to use my own money, so I worked my way through college. Then when I decided that I wanted to go to law school, and I told my dad, he said, well, that's not part of the deal. So I kept working, and I got a little scholarship, but I borrowed money from the federal government, from a program called the National Defense Education Act, because we used to think in America it was part of our national defense to educate the next generation. The interest rate was about 2%, and I got an income contingency program so that I could pay it off as a percentage of what I made. So when I graduated from law school, I got to go to work for the Children's Defense Fund, to follow my passion, to work with abused kids and neglected kids and kids in foster care and kids who needed help. Too many young people graduate now and they feel they have no choice. So here's what I want to do as well. Let's make it possible for you to do a public service job like teaching or nursing or law enforcement. And we will forgive your debts. You see, I think, as someone once said, that the real difference between people who run for office is that one group thinks that it's about the next election and the other thinks it's about the next generation. I want this election to be about the next generation, your generation. And I also want to do more for all of our extraordinary young people who don't go to college and graduate. How about more job training and apprenticeship programs? That is why I believe that green-collar jobs can give young people in America the same opportunities as other kinds of jobs gave to previous generations. I visited a facility in Southern California training people to install solar panels. The demand is higher than the supply of trained workers, and other countries are ahead of us. Germany has put hundreds of thousands of people to work installing solar panels. Last time I looked, California had more sunny days than Germany does. I think we could employ tens of thousands of Californians. And it's so important that we have a president who doesn't treat immigration reform like a political football, but we all know what we have to do. We're just being sort of drowned out by the voices of the demagogues, by the political opportunists who would rather have an issue than solve a problem. We know we've got to have tougher border security. I have voted for it. I believe in more technology, more personnel. It's not only about immigration, it's about our security. And we also have to recognize that 40% of the people who are here without documentation, they came legally and they overstayed their visas. So we've got to not only look at our southern border, but our northern border, our airports, our ports. We have to have a system that we need to crack down on abusive employers who exploit undocumented workers and we have to help communities like San Jose get the resources that you deserve to have for law enforcement, health care, and education. You don't set immigration policy. The federal government has failed to fix the broken program. I would like to work with our friends to the south to help them create more jobs for their own people, because people deserve a chance to make a good living in their homes, in their communities. And then when we look at those who are here already, the vast majority of whom are working so hard, and every one of us know people who are here. You may not know you do, but they're the people who maybe made your breakfast tomorrow, or yesterday, or today. Maybe they're taking care of your grandmother. These are people that are part of our economy and our society. And I know that there are those who claim that we can just round up everybody and deport them. Now, I have to say, I have given some thought to that idea, and it seems like it would cause quite a challenge. one would have to have tens of thousands of federal law enforcement officials who would have to be empowered to knock on every door of every home and every business, which would be an incredible invasion of Americans' privacy and rights. And I don't think most of us could stand for that. And when one really looks at it, what we have to do is to bring people out of the shadows, register them. If they've committed a crime in this country or the country they came from, they should be deported. That is absolutely part of what we have to make clear. But that is such a small percentage of people. And we've got to set up some tough conditions. People did come here illegally, they should have to pay a fine. That's how we in our country operate. We say, you broke the law, here's the punishment. We need to have a very clear set of requirements that people have to pay back taxes over time. And we have to say, you must try to learn English and provide more services to help people actually be able to do that. And the reason why we would then say, if you meet these conditions, you can have a path to legalization, is because it is not only in keeping with our tradition as a nation of immigrants, but also the rule of law. And it will do something that is very important, not only for immigrants, but for all who are here already, American citizens and those who are legally here. It will stop employers from exploiting undocumented workers and forcing hard-working Americans out of the jobs that they have today. Pay special attention to fixing the problems in agriculture. Senator Feinstein has been a leader. I have joined her. We need to make it clear we want American agriculture to flourish in California and New York. The hard-working farm workers who endorse the who understands that we have to fix this or we are going to start losing agricultural jobs and farms to other countries. It is already happening. It would be a tremendous loss to California. So let's quit talking and start doing what is necessary to solve these difficult and important problems for our country. And in order to do this, we have to reform the government. And that means let's end the no-bid contracts and the cronyism and the corruption and the incompetence and the indifference and insensitivity. I have a very old-fashioned idea. How about appointing qualified people for the jobs we ask them to do? And of course, we've got to restore our leadership and our moral authority in the world. And that begins with ending the war in Iraq and bringing our I have said that upon taking office, I would immediately ask the Secretary of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff and my security advisors to give me a plan, because I don't think the Bush administration has been planning. It has not been their strong suit, has it? And withdrawing troops is dangerous. And we've got to do everything we can to protect our sons and daughters as they depart. So I will ask for a plan and begin to withdraw our troops within 60 days. I think we can take out about how we do this. You know, Congresswoman Ellen Tauscher is here. She serves on the House Armed Services Committee. I serve on the Senate Armed Services Committee. We know that we not only have to worry about our troops, we have to worry about our civilians. We have over 100,000 Americans who are there working for the embassy and businesses and charities. I think we have to worry as well about those Iraqis who sided with us. We had a lot of Iraqis who are translators and drivers who who helped to save the lives of Marines and soldiers, and we can't turn our backs on them. And we need to tell the Iraqi government that the blank check they have had from George Bush is no longer valid. There is no American military solution. The future of Iraq depends upon whether the Iraqis decide they want to stabilize their country, try to move toward unity, resolve their sectarian differences. And I would immediately begin to engage in diplomatic negotiations with the other countries in the region, including Iran and Syria. And home, we must take care of them. Too many are coming home with visible and invisible injuries. They're not getting the health care, the compensation, the services that they deserve. I will be a president and commander-in-chief who takes care of the veterans who serve. A message to the entire world, because you see, I believe that on January 20th, 2009, when the next President of the United States is sworn in, the entire world will breathe a sigh of relief. Emissaries, distinguished Americans of both parties, because I want, right here in California, 1 million children a month get health care, because I helped to start the Children's Health Insurance Program, known as the Health Reserve members and their families have access to health care, because I reached across the aisle to work with a Republican senator to make sure that we remedy that injustice. And, you know, I thought I had gotten over being surprised by the Bush administration. There were times in the last 7 years that, I don't know about you, but I'd find myself yelling at my televisions. Outraged again when I read that the Pentagon wanted to take signing bonuses away from wounded soldiers. Young Americans who signed up, volunteered to serve our country, were given a signing bonus, who went off to Iraq or Afghanistan, were wounded, and then were told that they hadn't fulfilled their contract. That was so deeply offensive to our values that I once again joined forces with another Republican senator, and soon we will prohibit the Pentagon and the Bush administration from doing something as outrageous. Now, on Tuesday, to go and give me the chance to do with you what we know we can do together. There is no doubt in my mind that America's best days are ahead of us. And I